This is a nonpartisan lesson to help you learn political words and phrases that you need to know. And let's start with the word nonpartisan. Welcome back to JForrest English. Of course, I'm Jennifer. Now let's get started. Nonpartisan is an adjective that means not a member or connected within a group or political party. The community center is hosting a nonpartisan forum to discuss local issues. So this forum is not related to a specific political party. The opposite of that is partisan. This is also an adjective, and it's strongly supporting a person, principle, or political party. The audience was very partisan and refused to listen to her speech. And that's why I said this lesson is nonpartisan, because it's for everyone, regardless of political beliefs. So if you're excited to learn this vocabulary, put let's go in the comments. And don't worry about taking notes because I summarize everything in a free lesson PDF. You can find the link in the description. So we have nonpartisan, partisan, and there's also bipartisan. Have you heard this before? This is an adjective and it's supported by or connected to two political parties. And that's the word bi, which represents two. The government released a bipartisan public health campaign. So this campaign was supported by or connected to two political parties. Now, technically, tripartisan, which means three, or quadripartisan, which means four, and you can keep going. Technically, those terms exist, but they're not widely used, at least in North America.
Our long-standing nonpartisan tradition is to make decisions objectively, based only on the best available evidence.
There are concerns that highly partisan volunteers could try to intimidate voters this year.
But this is a bipartisan bill that authorizes more than $7 billion so that initiatives like Feed the Future endure well into the future.
Now let's quickly review the politics, because I hear students using this word incorrectly because of the grammar of the sentence structure. Politics is a noun. This means the activities of government, but it also means an area of study. For example, Maria is studying politics, the area of study. She's studying politics at university. Or perhaps you're at the dinner table and someone could say, let's not discuss politics, the activities of government. Let's not discuss politics at dinner. Now, don't confuse this with the word political, which is an adjective. This means relating to politics, but it also means interested in politics. And did you notice that the noun has that S on it? If you follow my channel, and if you're new here, make sure you subscribe. If you follow my channel, you'll know that I use political articles, news articles related to the study of politics to teach you, my students, English. But the lessons are non-partisan. The focus of the lesson is teaching you vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation. It's not to support or comment on a political party or interest. So remember, you can say Jasper's very political as the adjective, or you can say Jasper's interested in politics, the study, the noun. And of course, you already know politician. This is a noun, and this is a member of a government or lawmaking organization. Ahmet is a politician. Don't forget that article, because this is a job title and we use articles with job titles. Ahmet is a politician, but most of his life, he wasn't very political.
I wrote about politics, economics, and corporate affairs, and I could have chosen to specialize in any of those fields.
I wasn't really political. I was just a French horn player.
One newspaper from the early 1900s quoted a politician who said, "The Modis had always been loyal to the British Empire."
Now let's talk about a constituency. This is a noun and it's a body of voters. in a specific area, and these voters, they elect a representative. But remember, this word constituency, it refers to the whole body as one unit. The politician worked hard to address the concerns of his constituency. You could also say his constituents. So notice we have constituent or the plural form constituents. This is a noun, and it is simply referring to a voter or voters in the plural in a specific area. So I could say, I'm one of your constituents. I'm one of the people who can vote for you if I choose because I'm in this specific geographical area. Or a politician could say, my constituents will be pleased with this new initiative.
The constituency that he or she was running for an office to represent.
Now, in states where judges are popularly elected, they have constituents.
Now let's review some common vocabulary, and I want you to pay attention to the sentence structure. She voted in an election. So notice you vote in and then an election. An election, that's the noun form. She voted for Ahmet. So you vote for a person, you vote in an election. And of course, the verb is vote, so you conjugate that based on your subject. Ahmet is running for mayor. Notice you can run for a political position, in this case, mayor. You don't need an article here in front of mayor because mayor is considered a proper noun. You could also say Ahmet is a candidate for mayor, or Ahmet is campaigning for the position of mayor. You could add the position of, but you don't need to, so you could just say Ahmet is campaigning for mayor.
So nearly a third of these students voted in an election.
But they all just, for some reason, voted for the war.
And he starts running for mayor and doing really, really well in the polls.
It is just as illegal to make a foreign donation to a candidate for mayor or a sheriff as it is for the presidency.
So let's say it's election night and all of the constituents voted for their party of choice, their person of choice, and guess what? Ahmet won the election, and it was a landslide victory. This means that Ahmet won by a large margin. So the margin means the number of votes for or against. In this case, a large margin could be 70% of the votes were for Ahmet and 30% were against him. You could also say a clear margin. Using that word clear, you could say it was a clear-cut victory. Nobody can say that the results aren't conclusive. 70-30, that's conclusive. Ahmet won. You could say it was an underdog victory. This means that nobody expected Ahmet to win. He was the underdog. You could also say it was an upset. An upset. This means that everyone expected someone else to win. It was an upset. But now let's say that Ahmet lost the election. We could also say it was an upset. But in this case, everyone expected Ahmet to win, but he didn't. We could say it was a narrow defeat. Or you could say it was a close call. This means that Ahmet lost, but by a small margin. So maybe it was 51-49. That would be the smallest margin possible. You could say it was a crushing defeat. This means Ahmet lost by a large margin. So 70% of people didn't vote for Ahmet, only 30% did. It was a crushing defeat. Keep in mind that you can use this vocabulary about winning and losing for sports, recruitment, or any competition.
Germany's leading far-right party suffered a narrow defeat in regional elections in one of its strongholds.
Well, it was a close call. I mean, things almost didn't work out.
King Ben-Hadad I attacks from around Damascus, what today would be known as Syria, forcing the North to retreat in crushing defeat.
Now let's talk about to impeach, a politician's nightmare. This is a verb, and it means to formally accuse a public official of a serious crime in connection with their job. Did you know that in history, 3 US presidents have been impeached? This means 3 US presidents have been accused of a serious crime related to their position. Can you name 1 out of the 3? Well, if you follow my Learn English with the News lessons, I'm sure you can. So put one of those names in the comments. So 3 have been impeached, accused, but 0 presidents have been forced to leave office. You could also say that 0 presidents have been removed from their position as a result of the impeachment. Now notice here, impeachment is the noun form. It's talking about the accusation as a noun. If a politician is forced to leave office or removed from their position, this means fired. But we only use that term in non-political positions. So in a non-political position, you would say Yevgenia was fired. She's an employee and the company or the boss fired her. But for political positions, you can say removed from office or forced to leave their position. So 3 US presidents have been impeached, 0 have been forced to leave office. But did you know that former President Richard Nixon, he stepped down, he resigned before he was officially impeached? For a non-political position, you would use the word quit, or you can use resigned, but quit is more common. Yevgenia quit.
3 presidents have been impeached: Andrew Johnson, Bill Clinton, and Donald Trump. Trump is likely to be the first to be impeached twice.
Whether they're removed from their position or if they're otherwise disciplined due to concerns about harassment, bullying, retaliation, or hostile working conditions.
Well, anyway, it got a lot better, and by the time I stepped down, we had the internet bubble running, at high speed. It was marvelous. I mean, we were awash in cash.
I just mentioned former President Richard Nixon. Let's review the word incumbent. This is a noun, and it's the current holder of a political office or position. The incumbent president, the current president, isn't running for re-election. That's a story I did a Learn English with the News on. So make sure you watch it. So subscribe if you haven't already. Now let's review to lobby. This is a verb and is to try to influence a politician or public official. The company spent millions on lobbying efforts. So in this case, it's being used as an adjective. It describes the efforts. The incumbent president, the current president, faced impeachment, accusations of a serious crime, here it's the noun form, for secretly meeting with lobbyists. So right here, the word is a noun. A lobbyist is someone who lobbies. How about this word? Filibuster. Filibuster. Isn't that fun to say? Filibuster. Say it out loud. Filibuster. Do you know what this is? Well, it's both a verb and a noun, and it's a long speech that someone makes to delay or prevent a new law from being made. She filibustered the bill. So here it's a verb and it's in the past simple form. The filibuster, so here it's a noun, the filibuster lasted for over 10 hours. Remember, a long speech.
A filibuster?
And yes, it's a filibuster. The filibuster is on!
Now you have all the vocabulary that you need to feel confident discussing politics. Do you want me to keep teaching you political terms? If you do, then put filibuster in the chat. And of course, make sure you like this lesson, share it with your friends, and subscribe so you're notified every time I post a new lesson. And you can get this free speaking guide where I share 6 tips on how to speak English fluently and confidently. You can click here to download it or look for the link in the description. And here's one of the non-partisan Learn English with the News lessons, so make sure you watch it right now.